everyone. I hope you're all doing well. Welcome to the Shadow Chaser Show. Tonight we'll be talking to Danny Moss, actor and paranormal investigator. But before we do, we shall see who's joining us on the comments.
We'll wait for some comments. We do have a Facebook user. If you can allow us to see you by clicking on the StreamYard comment, that would be amazing. Who else have we got? Let's see. We got one of our mods. Hi to the mods. Valerie West. Any more coming in? Yeah, any Facebook users, if you could allow access to StreamYard, and then we can see your comments.
Jenny.
Hi, Jenny. Right, we're going to bring Danny on.
Hi, Danny.
Hi, Danny.
Hi, guys. How's it going?
Not too bad yourself?
Well, thank you.
Very good, thank you.
Excellent. Just for the viewers, could you just explain a little bit more info about yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, thank you to everyone who's joining the chat tonight. My name is Danny Moss. I've been a paranormal investigator now for over 10 years. I'm lead investigator of the Haunted Hunts, which is an Amazon Prime show and an events company as well. And I'm also co-host on the Sky Pick show, Paranormal Captured. Yeah, I've been doing it quite a long time, and a real fascination with the paranormal, like everybody watching tonight. And yeah, it's good to chat to everybody.
So, what got you into the paranormal?
Wow. Yeah, so originally I was a skeptic. Real non-believer, didn't ever really give the paranormal a thought. Probably more aliens rather than hauntings, were the only ones in the universe, things like that. But it took an experience of my own to really spark my interest in the paranormal and change my mind, if you like. And that experience was a fascinating one that really was the first unexplainable thing that really happened to me. I was sat in a friend's house, nothing special about this house at all, just a very modern house in the middle of a normal town on a normal Saturday afternoon. And our friend actually left and went to a dentist appointment and left me and another friend in the front room. And all of a sudden we heard the sound of somebody running up and down her staircase in the hallway. We ran out thinking, someone in the house. And to our amazement, we stood at the bottom of the stairs and we couldn't see anything. It was just a staircase, but you could hear somebody very, very clearly running up and down the stairs. Went on for a good 35, 40 seconds. And it was just one of the most mind-blowing experiences I think I've ever had. And that's how I started, really.
Yeah, so it's very similar to us, really, isn't it? Our experiences of seeing shadows, seeing things from a child. Yeah, and then just wanted to get out there and try and learn a bit more about what's causing what we're seeing and witnessing. Like noises, unexplained noises, things that we've been getting in our house.
Wow.
All sorts. But yeah, it's just a fascinating subject, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Love it.
So how long have you been acting for as well? Like doing Paranormal Captured and the Haunted Hunts?
Well, I've been an actor since I was 15. I've done a number of different projects, if you like. I was very lucky to actually appear on Hollyoaks at one point. I did Shameless, which was on Channel 4. I did one episode.
Oh, man.
Yeah, great show. And a load of other fantastic bits and bobs, really, in the acting industry. But I stepped away from it sort of into my mid to late 20s. And that's when I really started to bring sort of paranormal television into my career. I've always done television stuff. But I always wanted to bring my passion for the paranormal onto a TV screen and go down that route, really. And I've been very blessed with some of the fantastic opportunities that I've had But it's very important to me that, you know, what you see on screen with me is completely me. It's not the actor within me, if you like. You know, there's been plenty of times I've made an absolute fool out of myself on camera, getting very scared in certain moments, and that is just me, really. And that's how it goes, and it's a huge passion of mine.
Yeah, it's the best way to be as well, isn't it? Be relaxed, be yourself. People can see that as well on the TV.
Yeah,
it certainly comes across.
So, with Paranormal Captured, when you went to Jamaica Inn, how was that for you, for that building? How was it?
Amazing. Yeah, absolutely. Becky, who's my sister, she's also on the Haunted Hunt show as well. She'd actually been to the Jamaica Inn earlier that summer. And obviously, it's one of those locations that's iconic in the UK. It's one that we all want to go and visit. Really, I don't know any paranormal investigator who wouldn't want to go to the Jamaica Inn. And then when I found out that I'd be investigating there for Paranormal Captured, the winter special, wow, yeah, it was a real dream come true for me. The drive was horrible, the big 5-hour drive down there from where I am in Cheshire, but yeah, getting there and speaking to the Jamaica Inn Paranormal team. Obviously, you've got Colin and Karen, who brought a wealth of knowledge. You know, and it was just a very atmospheric place and a very welcoming place. All the staff there were fantastic, and you know, I kind of wish I was there for longer, but I got to spend a fantastic time there, and my experiences certainly baffled me. You know, there was certainly some strange things going on, and especially when I slept over in the middle of the night. I was charged with the task of actually filming myself sleeping overnight, and there was certainly some weird things that happened in my room that I didn't
catch
expect.
Quite a lot of stuff.
When
you're asleep and you're filming, you catch quite a lot of stuff as well.
Yeah.
I mean, we've done that.
It's very difficult because obviously you're half asleep at the time, so you're waking up going, there's a noise just woke me up, but I don't know what it is. Apart from obviously when the biscuits fell off the mug in the little utility room, that was really quite scary. But yeah, it's a fantastic place, and I would urge everybody to go.
Yeah, because when you were up in the attic, you did look quite uneasy up there. What was going on up there?
Yeah, you know, I don't actually believe anything really paranormal actually occurred up there. I swear at one point I did see a black mass moving, and I was very, very on edge. But you know, at the end of the day, you could put that down to imagination. I'm in a situation that made me uncomfortable, so you know, your eyes play tricks on you. It'd been a hell of a long day filming. I was absolutely shattered, but you know, I can't deny the atmosphere in that building. It is really unique.
How did you find the museum?
Oh, absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. But Karen had actually brought a skull, a human skull herself, which we're going to be using in the investigation. We never actually got down to doing any proper experiments with it, but that just kind of made everything a little more creepy. But the museum was amazing, and you know, we did an Estes method in there in the Daphne du Maurier bit, which was really, really interesting. Obviously, I had no idea what was being called out by Colin and Karen at that time. But yeah, it certainly brought up some interesting results.
It's a great. I mean, I agree with you on that. When as soon as you walk in to the museum, you can just feel the atmosphere in there. It's so strong with energy. There's definitely something going on there. We've never actually been able to investigate the actual museum. We've only ever done our room because of the public as well. Of the public. But yeah, I can imagine that museum would be.
It was. It really was. It was brilliant. And you know, very, very lucky to have been given the opportunity to investigate like that.
Yeah, we can't wait, because we're actually going there ourselves in a couple of weeks.
Amazing.
I'm looking forward to staying there. It's going to be really, really good.
Yeah, well, I wish you guys the best of luck, and obviously let me know if you do manage to capture anything, and I'm sure you'll get it online for everybody to see.
Definitely.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
it's really interesting.
Hopefully we'll get a bit more info from the Jamaica in team as well. So
yeah,
that will help.
Yeah, definitely.
Probably won't help at sleep, but it will help.
Stay awake all night.
Got a question coming.
Yes. Where's the most paranormal place you have been? Had the most activity?
Yeah, I'm going to have to say Tattenholt Hall with this one. It's kind of our exclusive location at the moment. But it's a place that I've had a strong fascination with as a young boy, really, and not for the paranormal side of things. It's just because obviously I was a non-believer. It just has a very, very unique atmosphere to it. And we obviously started our project there back in 2018. Some of the things that I've witnessed in that house have been absolutely bizarre, and you know, for me 100% paranormal, just unexplainable events that have no possible explanation for them. So yeah, that is for me the most active place that I've had the pleasure to investigate, and obviously I get to do it quite a lot. We host events there which are coming back this August, fingers crossed. But yeah, I've been very lucky. I've been to some fantastic places, but certainly Tattenholt Hall is right up there.
Never been there.
No, that's one to check out.
Yeah, never been there.
Yeah.
Another question is, a lot of your investigations revolve around your haunted doll. Can you tell us about that one?
Yeah, well, that is to do with Tattenholt Hall.
Okay.
So the Grace doll is what I call a paranormal miracle, because if you'd have asked me back in 2017 or very early 2018, if I believed that dolls could hold spiritual attachments, I'd have laughed in your face probably. It's something I'm very, very skeptical of. It's still something I'm very skeptical of because I do see a lot of these paranormal dolls, these haunted dolls floating around on the internet, with very, very little evidence to actually back it up. The Grace doll is a fascinating story, and we used the item as a trigger object, and we took it to locations that were reputedly haunted by children to see if it could gain any interaction, basically. Very simple trigger object. Many people use that technique. And we took it to a place called Nant Clwyd Dre in Ruthin, North Wales, which to this day has been one of the most sinister locations I've ever investigated. A real strange location that I've had to physically carry people out of the house. I've witnessed stigmata effects in there. People have real bad experiences. Even witnessed a crucifix necklace coming up off a girl's chest in front of about 16 other people and actually come off her neck by a disembodied force. And this one night, the Grace doll that we had randomly got knocked off a chair. So we just thought, wow, that's incredible. It's, you know, poltergeist activity, amazing. But it was the 3 days following that investigation that really sparked off this whole project, if you like. And that was simply because this item would move. And I'm not talking big dramatic movements. I'm talking very subtle, couple of inches, things like that. It would twist. And we actually locked the office door one night and drew chalk before we left. We came back the following morning and the item had moved out of the chalk lining. We conducted an emergency investigation on the item, and the rest is history. If people follow our project at Tattenholt Hall and follow the story of the Grace doll, they will know all about the evidence that has come from this item, and it is very, very, very disturbing. And it's something that still to this day baffles myself. It baffles the Haunted Hunts team. It baffles skeptics, producers, everybody who's ever met this doll is just absolutely mind blown by what happens with it. And that's the project that started at Tattenholt Hall. Really, it's very separate to any of our other stuff. You know, I run events at other locations. I do obviously the Haunted Hunts TV show. I do other shows as well. And the Grey Stall isn't really anything to do with that. It's specifically for Tatton Old Hall, but it is becoming to the point now where I really am wanting to shoot a documentary about it, because it's such a fascinating subject, and one that
that would be really good.
Really baffles skeptics, which is good for me, because I like seeing skeptics change their mind.
Yeah. I mean, I myself was quite skeptical.
We had a chat with
general things. Yeah.
And him as a skeptic, some of what he was saying was really fascinating as well, from a skeptic's point of view.
Yeah.
I mean, I always go into like an investigation open-minded. Generally just to get a picture of things and see if you can actually, if there is a genuine reason rather than a paranormal reason. And if there isn't, then that's all good. But yeah, I like to make sure that, you know, get the verification on, you know, was it a battery that's obviously causing a REM pod to still beep?
Absolutely.
I know it can towards the end of the battery. Like the K2, was there a mobile phone? Was there anything that could have triggered that?
And this is the thing, as investigators, we have to explore every single possibility, and explore the, you know, I always say to people, you have to be rational. You can't have a paranormal investigation without first wanting to debunk everything. And it's when you can't debunk it, that's when it then becomes
really interesting.
And that's the whole thing with the Grey Stall, really. It's, you know, I see all these haunted dolls floating around social media, and I never see any evidence with them. I just see personal feelings, or I've captured an orb, and you know, that's not evidence. It's not for me. I've seen this thing move. I've heard the voices come from it. I've captured them on camera. I've seen the effect it has on people. You know, and another thing with it is this voice that comes from it. It has the knowledge of the unknown. It says personal things, which for me, not only are you getting an absolute gem of a paranormal piece of evidence with a voice, but then you're getting actual intelligent things, knowing personal information about somebody and hearing it, and seeing the doll move. It's just, that for me is
another level, isn't it? I've yet to experience. Well, personally, I've yet to experience a haunted object actually move. I've been in a room with a couple, but I've never seen anything or caught anything coming from them. So, but yeah, I'd love to see that one day.
Oh, you guys are more than welcome at Tatton Old Hall, and hopefully, you know, you can witness it for yourselves.
Okay.
Yeah, that would be amazing to witness something like that. Really would be.
We got another question.
Yeah. Paul Rowland has said, Danny, was it the Grey Stall that reacted when I was at Tatton? Paul's lovely. We met him at
it's one of our good friends.
But yeah, Paul is he's a very good friend of mine as well. I've worked with him for a good couple of years now. You're going to see a project coming up very shortly which features Paul heavily. He's a great guy, great investigator, resident investigator at the Old King's Head in Chester. And we've done many stuff together. But yeah, it was Paul has had the pleasure of coming to Tatton Old Hall. He did some photography there for us, captured something very, very bizarre on one of his cameras. And Paul is a fantastic technician devising paranormal equipment, as you guys will know. He's fantastic. But yeah, it was Paul. Yeah, Paul has seen what the Grey Stall is like firsthand.
Wow.
Okay.
But that was pretty mind-blowing.
Mind-blowing. It is crazy to think something like a doll or something like an object, the energy can hold on to an object. Absolutely mind-blowing how it can still linger.
Absolutely.
Amazing.
Just scanning through comments. Chris Wilkes said, are you babysitting? But I don't know if that was to any of us or someone in the chat. Harry said Tatton Old Hall had amazing activity, loved the barn area.
Good.
And
it's a place we've not been. That's one place we've not ventured yet. Done the Old King's Head a few times, which was
that's just been mind blowing.
one of the most active places I've ever been to. We used to keep staying in room 6. Obviously
it's the most active
amazing room.
Yeah, it is
definitely.
We were there for a whole week once.
Yeah, we got moved from one room to another because obviously being there for a whole week, they had to move your room.
It wasn't available
because it wasn't available on the weekends, so they had to keep switching us. But my God, the stuff that we've witnessed in there, and Paul's caught with the cameras, it's mind blowing in there.
It's a very special place.
Definitely.
It's a shame now that they've stopped the B&B side. But
I see why they have.
Yeah,
I do.
You know, you can make so much money from that place. Is just upstairs. It's just so haunted. Like, I don't know. It's if I could own it, I'd own it.
Keep your eyes peeled, guys, because
you never know.
Coming on King's Head soon.
We'll be watching that then. Definitely.
How a picture.
I've got another comment as well here. Sarah Hughes said she's had experience at a grey doll on one of your investigations, and from first-hand experience, you know that there's something extremely negative attached to the doll, and it affects the house.
Yeah, and you see, this is the thing. This is always what backs it up, you know, because it's one thing to hear it from me and what I'm saying to you guys on here, but then to actually have people come into the chat and say what they've witnessed firsthand as well. It is amazing. And they have, you know, we've had a few hundred guests through Tatton Old Hall's doors over the 3 years. And a large majority of them have witnessed something or other in the house. And some people have been there on some really, really crazy nights. But yeah, it's a special place.
Definitely.
I'm just scanning. Howard said this is why he doesn't like dolls.
Yeah, okay. I'm not a big fan of dolls, I've got to say. I mean, I'm happy to be in a room for them with them there, but
I love dolls.
Yeah, I don't know how I'd react if it did seriously move. I don't know. I'd probably be out of there.
Nikki said she's heard a doll say hi at the Haunted Antiques Paranormal Center.
Yeah, another very interesting place with obviously what Neil's doing there. It's always somewhere I've wanted to go and investigate, and I think I will be going at some point this year, hopefully.
A lot of people say they think you need to go to Tatton, so I think it's going to go on everyone's bucket list.
Definitely. So when it comes to paranormal kit, what would you say has been your most favourite piece that you use?
Well, I think anybody who follows what I do will know about a device called the Intravox. It's a design based on white noise frequencies. Now, I'm a big believer that white noise can act as a platform for paranormal activity. So, you know, everybody's, most people are fans of spirit boxes. They like to work with them. But I think we have to accept the fact that they're easily manipulated by radio bleed. And sometimes we can give a case of pareidolia, if you like. We hear what we want to hear. So I worked on a device that could cut radio bleed completely out of the equation and just use the white noise. Now I managed to do that with one of Andy Bailey's portal devices. You know, Andy Bailey's a great technician, very, very famous in the UK for making paranormal equipment. And I bought one of his portal devices and adapted it to cut out radio bleed. And that has been very, very successful. I think anybody who's watched season 3 of The Haunted Hunts will have seen that in action at Pendle Hill. But the Intravox is different to that, and it brings different frequencies of white noise. So the stuff that you hear loudly to the stuff that maybe only animals can hear, that it's outside our hearing range, all those different frequencies that are projected into a room or a location, and the results that I've had from that device have just been absolutely incredible.
Wow, it's fun to check out, isn't it? I mean, we've got a spirit box. We don't tend to use it that much. We tend to use an app called the Phasma Box.
Yes.
I don't know if you've heard of that one.
Yes.
Again, whilst you're recording, you can sometimes what comes out of that is different to what you hear when you play it back.
Yes.
So it's very, very important to record when you use it.
Absolutely.
But fantastic piece of software, and some of the stuff we've had on it, I cannot explain because we don't use it obviously connected to any internet, no outside source. Everything's turned off. So I don't know how the results that come through that. It's sometimes it can be so mind blowing.
Yeah, I think I'm a big fan of ITC. I think instrumental trance communication is a great way of investigating. I know there's a lot of people out there that don't like using equipment or gadgets. They very much want to be sort of back to basics, and that's absolutely fine. That is fine. But I think without certain pieces of equipment, you're really limiting yourself to investigations and the evidence you could potentially get. But again, going back to the Phasma box, yes, there are things that could maybe be perceived to be something else, but when you record the sessions and the frequencies that it gives out into the room, it can definitely attract paranormal activity, spirit voice. And some of the things that you can get through that device are really unexplainable.
It's been one of the best things best thing we ever bought, really, in terms of software. We've got your standard spirit box, which we always struggle trying to pick up on what it's actually saying sometimes. And like you say, it could be just radio snippets, or it could just be what you're trying to perceive it to be. So that's why we went down the Phasma box route, because I thought, well, it's not like white noise so much, it's more word bank. And it's a lot more easier to kind of understand.
But I think the actual sound banks themselves and the word banks coming out, because obviously I'm right in thinking you have to actually use a desktop to get that.
Yeah, that's right. Yes.
That in itself can act as a conduit for spirit activity because of the frequencies it's pumping out into the atmosphere. Any electrical device that you use in a location can give off a frequency and be useful. How many times have you heard people say, my mobile phone's just randomly drained? Oh, my battery's gone down. It's full battery. I've just charged it. I've had it myself. I've seen production crews who have big £15,000 cameras. Suddenly, the battery just drains. But it only ever seems to happen inside these haunted locations. So I think any electrical device can act as a platform or a conduit for paranormal activity.
Definitely.
It's like the Obelisk 3. That when we first got that was an amazing piece of kit as well.
Yeah.
Like, especially when you're using what's it called?
We use that alongside. Sometimes we use it alongside a program called the Alice Box.
Yeah.
Yes.
That one.
And sometimes we've had the same results on both pieces of equipment at the same time.
Yeah.
Which again is chances of it is so slim.
But it's interesting because you're always going to have a battle with the more skeptical people out there who will just say, well, the obvious just spouts out random words and you're just taking from that and reading into it too much. But I think you just need to be slightly more open-minded. Yes, I agree on some point with skeptics.
Definitely.
I think with any piece of equipment, if you use it correctly and you're rational yourself about it, then it's definitely a benefit to an investigation.
And sometimes you get to know the piece of kit as well. Like, you get to know the obelisk when you're using it a lot, because its most frequent word is foliage. It says that quite a lot. So you can dismiss that a lot. And obviously if it comes back when you ask a question, it comes back with the response straight away. That's when you want to take more notice.
Yes. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it can be a very good piece of kit. Again, I'm still happy just with the digital recorder and the camera. Happy just to be locked into a cell or locked into a room, anywhere that if you can document something.
I think to sort of back up what you're saying about the Ovulus or any random word generator, if you like, the Ovulus, maybe not some of these apps that people are using, because I'm not a fan of that at all, and I'm not going to pretend to be, but certainly with the Ovulus device, and we use something called the Paranormal Puck.
Yes, we've got one of those.
Fantastic piece of kit.
Ours didn't work.
Didn't work.
Yeah, we're struggling. Well, we're struggling with ours because you can't update the app.
Yeah.
It's the Paranormal Puck 2. You download the app from Play Store, but the Play Store haven't got the app anymore.
Really?
So we've luckily enough we've got it installed on our old phone and it seems to work. But it's only hit and miss though. It doesn't load up half the time.
Yeah, it's a bit.
So I don't know if it's just a software issue, maybe, or
maybe worth trying to contact Bill Chappell himself.
Yeah.
Device. But going back to what I was saying, and this happened in the old King's Head. We were filming season 2 of The Haunted Hunts in there, and Emma and I were in room 4, which is obviously where the sword was uncovered.
Oh, yes,
Now we got the word Veronica through the Paranormal Puck. I said, "Who is it?" Veronica came through. Now, at the exact same time that word Veronica came through, we captured a Class A EVP. And bear in mind that it was only Emma and me in the room. A clear woman's voice comes back and says, "Veronica." Clear as day.
Wow.
Yeah.
When we were last there, when were we there?
A while ago now, wasn't it?
Last year.
No,
During
was it
we
last
went up to Oxford, didn't we?
That could have been a couple of years ago, probably 2019. But
That could have been. We had an EVP in room 6, didn't we? It sounded like we know bits on Chester, but a woman came through on an EVP. I've still got it actually. Saying something to do with a mistress. Do you remember that one?
Yeah, because it did used to be used as a brothel too, didn't it?
Yeah.
We had a mistress come through, which was that was weird.
Interesting, wasn't it? We've done a few nights with Paul as well. And yeah, they've been really good, really, really good. And we've caught what we think is a man in the mirror.
Yes.
I have shown Paul this, but it looks like he's got like a grey beard, probably 60s, maybe sort of. Yeah, I've still got the picture, but he's in the mirror, and I'm not 100% sure if it's just pareidolia, because obviously at the time the kettle and that was there, and it could have been just steam, it could have been anything that could have caused that at the time. But it does look quite convincing, and I've shown Paul, and he thinks it's quite a good catch. And also to do with that sword and shield, the sword and shoes, I think that is what's holding the energy within the building.
Yeah, quite possibly.
Seems to be every time Harry disturbs the actual sword, things happen.
Yeah, definitely agree there.
It's an interesting place. So going back to like investigating with things like mediums, where do you stand on mediums? Are you big believer?
I believe in some,
right.
Very few though, and that is simply because I've not met many genuine ones. So I'm not saying that I don't believe in mediums, because I have met a couple who have been absolutely brilliant, and there was no doubt in their capabilities. I've heard stories from friends and family, people who I trust, who have gone to psychic readers and have had some incredible stuff like that. But I have met a few, and I've seen a few working in locations that have been purposely tripped up and have fell right into the trap of being tripped up as well.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't particularly enjoy working with mediums, but I don't ever rule it out. I would just love to meet more genuine ones.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Thing is, there's no point like pretending you can do something when you can't.
No, because you don't benefit
from it either.
definitely.
Yeah, but the thing about the paranormal that you've also got to understand is that there is a lot of attention seekers in the industry.
Yeah.
And, you know, the social media especially is a source for these types of people. And,
Yes.
you
Yeah.
know, you see it constantly. You know, we have an admin who does our social media for us. The amount of medium psychic reading live feeds that come up that are just like, why, what are you doing? You know, it's so easy to look up somebody's personal information on social media and then say this has happened to you, but their status 10 weeks ago clearly said this happened to them. So I'm not, no, it's one of the things, it's one of my pet hates in the paranormal is these psychic readings online.
Yeah, we've met quite a few and they've been spot on. Like, first time you've ever met them, they've known stuff.
We've had quite a few good readings,
yeah.
not going to lie. But
Good.
yeah, I mean, I guess we'll never know because we're not
a medium.
We're not a medium.
Yeah.
But yeah, some of the stuff we've had is quite interesting. So have you got any kind of ability yourself in terms of like sensitivity?
No, absolutely nothing at all. I'm very, very normal, very, very rational minded. But, you know, I'm not going to deny for 1 second that, you know, I can just walk into a place and pick up on the atmosphere. Definitely, you know, if I think there's an atmosphere to the place, I'll say so. But that's not coming from a sixth sense or anything like that. It's just
a general kind of feel.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, I don't think that I'm any different to anybody else in that aspect. I think it's very easy, even for skeptical people, to walk into a location and go, "Wow, it's very atmospheric, isn't it?" But no, I'm very straight down the line. You know, if I think something is paranormal, I'll say it. If I don't, I'll say that.
Yeah,
fair play.
So I did have a question earlier, actually. Have you had any attachments?
No, not personally. It's not something I'm a major believer in. Obviously, I wasn't a believer in haunted items, though, so everything is possible.
That's true.
Very happy to be proved wrong, but personally, no, I've never had an attachment, and I've tried all sorts on investigations. I've tried very risky provocation to opening myself up to the possibility of it, but no, it's not something that's ever happened to me. But I'm a big believer in shutting off from work when you get home, and that's something I really try to do.
Yeah. Because it's like, I mean, we were having a chat on a last show about the energy you take to the locations and how that can affect some people. It's like some people can walk away with a negative experience. Is that the energy they put in, or is that place itself?
Yeah,
so I'm a big believer you get out of what you put in a sense. So if you go on an investigation in a positive frame of mind, then I believe you'll get positive results. When you go in with a negative mind, potentially
you could draw
negativity in and possibly take it with you.
Yeah, I can fully get on board with what you're saying there, really. It's very difficult, isn't it, to predict what's going to happen. You know, I've seen people want paranormal activity too much, and I think one of, you know, Becky, she works on the Haunted Hunts, my sister. She often is very guilty of wanting it too much, but she's very positive going into investigations. She's always open to what's going to happen. She's not disrespectful, or she very rarely uses provocation, even though she believes that it works. But then she's experienced some severely negative things happen to her. It's just we're in a field that is very, very difficult to predict.
It is. You don't know what you're going to get one day to the next.
No.
The like with Shepton Mallet, we've been in there like week in, week out for about 3 years on the trot. Shepton Mallet prison, and sometimes you go in, you get absolutely nothing. I'm not going to lie, you don't get anything. Other times it can be really good.
Cool.
But I guess that's just, I don't know if that's the energy or I don't know, because I know there's a lot of
The
teams
way
that
it
go
is.
in yeah, or just the way it is, because there is a lot of teams, event teams that go in, week out. Whether they drain the energy of the place.
Yeah, you know, I'm glad you've actually said that, because I do find that with a lot of these places, and I do believe 30 East Drive to be one of those, and almost the Ancient Ram Inn as well. You know, too many events, too much going on, and you know, it's paranormal activity. True paranormal activity is rare, and you know, you can't give it too much all the time. You know, you can't expect to be running events in these places week in, week out, and sometimes day in, day out, and expect things to happen all the time. And I do feel like they are two locations that people go to with the wrong mindset, because they expect something is going to happen.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we've been to East Drive. We met Barry John and Jane Harris there on the podcast. The Battersea podcast. I got to say it's quite an interesting night. Few things happened, which is obviously better than nothing. There was a lot of movement and things upstairs that we could hear, but whether that was next door, because I know those houses are quite, they're built quite thin, aren't they? So council houses. Could have been the noise mistaken from there, but it sounded like movement above in the bedrooms. I've done locked off lone vigils up there in the bedrooms. I've had whistles back to me, which again I can't really explain. It was only me and Jess after the crew left. We were left to it. We had the whole house to ourselves, but unfortunately we didn't have any kit on us because we didn't know we would be able to stay. So we just
always the way, isn't it?
It's always the way. Always the way.
It went well.
But it went really well, considering. We didn't have anything, but we had a few things like the mirror upstairs just toppled on the floor. It didn't crack or anything, but it fell flat on its face.
Wow!
And a big heavy mirror just resting in the parents' bedroom. We had that go, and apparently when the film crew were there, they placed a plant pot on the kitchen side that got moved over to the fireplace. Now I can't actually verify seeing it on the kitchen side to begin with, but I know they did have one. But it wasn't until all our backs were turned that apparently it moved over to the fireplace. So interesting.
We were all in the lounge, weren't we?
But yeah, it's a good place, and I completely know where you're coming from on all these big places that are so-called really active. We've done the Ram as well and got absolutely nothing. So
until we went to the attic,
and then the attic
right at the end.
At the end of the evening, the attic became a little bit more alive with the Ouija board we did up there, but there wasn't nothing major, not from my point of view.
Not
considering how haunted it's supposed to be.
How do you feel on Ouija boards? Sorry. I was gonna say, how do you feel on Ouija boards?
No, I'm not a strong believer in them. Again, you know, I say to a lot of people who ask my opinion on them that anything that can be easily manipulated by the human touch can also easily be debunked. So, and I, you know, we've also got to blame Hollywood for the reputation that they have.
Definitely.
That's the thing. A lot of people put a lot of frighteners in with the Ouija board as well, didn't they?
Yeah,
again, good and bad.
Yeah.
Any of the sort of methods that involve table tipping, Ouija boards, mirror scrying, dowsing rods, for me is just I would never do it, to be honest, because I just find them so easily manipulated and also so susceptible to imagination. And you know, I just think that they're not useful things to do on a paranormal investigation. But everyone has their own way of doing things, and I would never ever discredit that.
Yeah, exactly.
And we've experienced good and bad on the Ouija board, but again,
we try not to use it too often because, like,
you've got to be careful who you use it
when you're
with.
on, when you go on events and stuff, you don't know who you're using a Ouija board with.
No.
Yes.
So it's having that trust as well.
And some people that come on events and things like that, they're looking for a family member, a deceased loved one.
Yeah.
They're looking for it, in search of it, and they're hoping that obviously the Ouija board will give them the answers. And sometimes, it doesn't
The
really
wrong
work like
thing
that.
to do.
Definitely.
I have just seen some of the comments as well. I do echo what Jenny Foster said and Sam Lawler Jones. There are some good mediums out there. And
Yes,
good
absolutely.
mediums don't need to research people.
Nope.
Which is true.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said, I've had the pleasure of meeting two very, very talented mediums who I fully believed. But I do think genuine mediums are quite hard to come by because in a field where there are a lot of fake ones out there, it's hard to handpick the ones that you think are quite good. But yeah, I've definitely experienced two very good ones. So
I mean, we've met some amazing ones. Gary Fields one, Karen Frey, Barry John, Jolene Jackson Lockwood. Amazing.
I've worked with Gary Fields very early on in my career, and yeah, he's a great guy. I've seen him.
He blows my mind.
Yeah.
I gotta say, he's you could be thinking of something and he's already written it down, and I'm thinking, how'd you do that?
Yesterday you were talking about a location with someone. He was going to, and he comes back and says it same time.
Seconds, literally at the same time.
No, he's very good. He's a trance medium, isn't he?
He is.
Yes.
He is.
I've seen him work. Well, I've worked with him at a location that's not far from me, and he was very, very good, very spot on with some of the things that were happening. He's definitely one of the good ones out there.
Top ones.
Yeah. He had me in trance at Falstaffs.
Yeah, he did.
That was weird. First experience. That was weird. Definitely
great location.
It really was amazing locations. We were down at the bottom of the stairs before you go up onto the next level.
Yes.
Not the in this end.
Before you go up to the ship room,
yeah.
Isn't it? Upstairs.
Yeah.
And he had me stood on the stairs, and I don't know. I felt
you physically
slightly.
Well, you seemed like you were drunk, and you couldn't actually walk the steps.
I couldn't walk upstairs.
Wow.
Physically couldn't walk the steps.
It was
because Gary kept saying, try walking up the steps, and she couldn't do it.
Couldn't lift my leg. Pretty weird.
It's one of the most bizarre things I've ever seen, to be fair.
That's amazing.
But yeah, that was those are amazing.
Great experience.
Who else is there? I did see another question. SLS cam. What do you reckon on the SLS cameras?
It's one of those pieces of equipment that once you recognize the false positives and what creates a false positive, then it can work. My advice to anyone using an SLS camera would be to stick it on a tripod and leave it stable, and then see what happens. I'll drop a massive spoiler for you here. Obviously, many people know we're filming for season 4 of The Haunted Hunts right now. In one of the episodes, we have the SLS completely stable, and it's actually filming Roxanne. And in the other corner, mind you, she's in the room completely on her own. In one of the corners, a figure moves in to shot, and it picks it up clearly, and then it fully disappears. And it's definitely not a false positive.
Wow,
that's amazing when that happens. I mean, we've been on locations that, like Shepton Prison, has a lot of lights, so it picks up on all the lights. That's it's hard unless you've got a blank canvas room with nothing that it can map in as an object. Then
I'm not a big fan, because if you've got a chair in the room or anything like that, it will pick up as a spirit, because really that's what it's designed to do, isn't it?
Yeah, you've got to recognize what creates false positives, and this is why, if you leave it stable on a tripod and make sure there's nothing mapping, then you can't go wrong, really.
Yeah, exactly.
Worth a shot, isn't it?
Sorry, Rachel's comment made me chuckle. We're talking about the drunk, me feeling drunk.
Oh yeah.
She said it's hard to distinguish a drunk from the channelers.
Another question now.
Oh, we have another one. What's your thoughts on Bob the Clown Boy, as he's gone very quiet?
Yeah, obviously this goes back to Tatton Old Hall and some of the collection that we have in there. You know, for people who know about Tatton and know what Bob is, it's a ventriloquist doll that seemed to be absolutely crazy with activity when we first moved it into Tatton. It comes with a handwritten letter from the mother of a family who actually witnessed its legs swinging back and forth in her house, and she had to get rid of it straight away. Again, very interesting because she was a non-believer, and I always love non-believers stories. Yeah, but it's gone completely dormant, and my thoughts on that are that with any haunted item, I strongly believe they can lie dormant for months, weeks, even years, and you may not get activity from them. So I'm not sure what's going on right now, but certainly for the last, well, almost a year, I'm going to say we've had no activity at all from it, and it could just be a case of it's lying dormant at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Just waiting.
Yeah,
who knows?
Yeah, who knows? Gary said he remembers Stanley Place.
Stanley Palace, great location.
Oh, Palace, sorry.
Yeah, it's Gary was there the night that we heard some very, very clear disembodied footsteps upstairs, and it was a night that I actually had my first amazing poltergeist experience, where a chair actually moved in front of the entire group of people. So it wasn't anyone's imagination. Everybody got to see it, and it was just an amazing moment.
Fantastic.
Wow.
That sounds very active.
That does sound quite good, actually.
Another place to go back to.
Have you ever been to any of the prisons? Shepton, Shrewsbury?
I've not investigated them, no.
No,
but for me, that one of the best prisons I've ever been to is actually Lancaster Castle.
Okay.
That was absolutely incredible there in the prison part of that. You hear all kinds of strange phenomena going on.
Wow.
See, we just love the prisons for their, like, I guess because you're aware that you're going to get some kind of activity sometimes, and when you do get it, you're going to get full on activity, just due to the natural energy that's within them.
Yeah.
So it tends to be a draw for us. Shrewsbury Prison's another one. Another good one that can be very active at times.
Yeah. I've heard some very interesting stories.
Mm-hmm. And Oxford Prison's another one. That's that's a castle and obviously a jail.
Yeah.
That's an interesting building. Definitely. And we have.
So.
Go on.
So, is there anything? Is there anywhere that people can find you to search for you? Obviously, follow what you do.
Yeah. I think if you just type my name in Google, you'll find quite a few things on me. In terms of social media, Danny Moss is my main page, if you like. Daniel Moss is my sort of paranormal profile that I have. I don't accept anybody on my personal profile. That's strictly for family and friends. And then obviously, you can find everything you want on Paranormal Captured by typing in Paranormal Captured Fans. That's a fan page that was set up. And then the Haunted Hunts UK is everything the Haunted Hunts. So yeah, they're everywhere you can find me, really. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. I'm all over them. I don't do TikTok though.
You're not alone on that one.
No, don't do it.
Just going back to Bob the Clown, Chantel Raymond said, could it be that the spirit that was attached to Bob the Clown could have attached to something or someone else, and that's why he's quiet?
No,
Interesting.
I mean, everything is possible, of course. I'm not going to rule anything out, but personally, in my honest opinion, I don't believe that's the case. It's all enclosed, very safe. It doesn't come out. I just honestly believe that it's dormant right now, but I believe that's to do with other stuff that's actually occurring in the house right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Makes
So
sense.
is it something that you're going to continue doing, collecting dolls, or?
It's not just dolls that really. I have a very trusted contact who gives me haunted items to investigate.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
If I believe they hold paranormal activity, genuine paranormal activity, I'm not talking about feelings or anything like that, then I'll say to her, can I keep it? If I don't believe it does, then I'll send them back. I've got 2 items in my house right now, which is a first me because I never bring anything into my house, that have provided pretty much nothing at all, and I've had them in here since March. There has been one unexplainable event happen, but not a lot else has really happened. And there's been plenty of items that I've investigated over the last 3-4 years that I've just thought, no, not a chance, and sent them back. But it's anything really that they believe is haunted, she sends me. But I'll only take items off her. She's someone I trust, really.
Yeah.
What's supposed to be attached to the 2 that you have?
So the 2 dolls that are currently here come from a couple of antique dealers. And it was a really, really interesting case. It's the first case that I've taken that hadn't come from my contact. And I only took it because they were 2 complete non-believers in the paranormal. But they were at an absolute loss as to what was going on. And that for me it's quite sad, but it makes it so much more interesting to me. They don't have a clue. All they could hear was whispering coming from one of them, and the other one was causing some real sort of havoc in this antique store. Being haunted was the last thing on their mind. It was the last thing they would have ever thought of, but they've covered every other angle, and I've just thought there's something going on here that we cannot scientifically explain. Let's bring someone in who deals with these items. So they've sent him to me, and let's see. It's ongoing. We'll see what happens.
It just made me wonder, because when you said that you have those 2 items in your house, and the question that we had earlier was, are you babysitting? And he put 2 question marks. I didn't know who that was aimed at. So I thought possibly someone was hearing something one of our ends. I mean, we're not babysitting, so it wasn't our end.
Well, I've not got kids, so I'm not.
So I was wondering where that question might have tied into something.
It could have.
Yeah, possibly.
But, so no plans of a haunted museum.
No, not a museum as such. I don't think. I find that quite commercial. Tatton is a place of paranormal research, and it's somewhere that isn't open in the daytime for people to just come and look at my haunted collection in there. That's not what we do. And I also advise that no inexperienced or first-time investigators come to it either. So it's not there for people to just turn up as an attraction, if you like. It's certainly not that. It's a place of serious research.
Yeah, sounds like a interesting place.
Really does. Check that one out.
Yeah, definitely. One more question. Paul said, where would you like to investigate that you haven't been to?
Oh God! Wow, everywhere.
There's a question.
There's a question.
If we're talking in the UK, Christ, I don't even know. I couldn't even tell you in the UK because there's so many places that I would. If we're talking abroad, I think on my main hit list would be the Winchester House in America, Bran Castle in Transylvania, and Loftus Hall in Ireland would be right up there.
Winchester's definitely one for us.
Lep Castle.
I want Lep Castle.
In Ireland.
Yeah.
There's loads in America I want to do.
Absolutely.
One day.
But the funny thing is, there'll be loads of Americans who want to come over here and do our place.
There is.
Yeah, we were talking to quite a few, Miranda, Howard, and they all say about places over here. We're like, but we want to go to your places. Let's have to do a house swap.
They're desperate to come over here, and we're desperate to go over there.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It is crazy. Yeah, we've come to our hour. It's been a pleasure talking with you and finding out so much info. It's been great.
And you guys, thank you very much.
Really good chat. Nice to meet you, and thank you very much for your time. Really appreciate
thank you,
it.
and a big thank you to everyone in the chat as well. Appreciate it, and keep your eyes peeled. There's stuff coming soon, I promise.
Yeah,
excellent.
Keep your eyes peeled, everyone. Yeah. So thank you very much for talking with us. It's been a pleasure to have you.
Thank you, guys, and I wish you all the best in whatever you're going to be doing in the future.
Yeah,
thank you.
We'll definitely keep an eye out for season 4.
Thanks, guys.
Definitely.
Catch you soon.
Catch you soon.
Right, everyone. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for your questions as well. We will see you again in 2 weeks.
We'll be back in 2 weeks' time. Hope you can all join us.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.